And Eric is out there. Eric, you got a copy?
Absolutely. Good afternoon to you there, KC9VKV. This is W4AVT, and the signals, they seem pretty good today.
Yes, well, I was thinking so, but I was talking to Charlie there earlier. He's up around the Canadian border, and things weren't going well for him, Roger. I mean, it was just really not a good signal. And normally but he had me copied pretty well, but I usually copy him about a 10 over and a 12 over, and he was only about a 5. So it was one of those anomalies where you have conditions going one way, Roger.
Oh yeah. Well, at one point, you were up there around 10 or 15 over 9 while you were talking to that gentleman you just finished with.
Roger that. And what kind of stuff are you running right now?
I'm running the Yaesu Fox Tango FT1000 MP Mark V with about 50 watts drive to a Kenwood Tango Lima 922 Alpha Kenwood amp, doing about 1 kW with the Palstar tuner, obviously, and then inverted B dipole with the dynamic Heil PR781. I saw this condenser mic out there called an MDX. I think it was an MDX 90 or 91 XL. But it is a condenser mic, and I don't know. I might play around with maybe bringing that into the ham shack and just do some experimenting between the two.
Roger. Well, I'd love for you to give me a call there on Friday afternoon, like we are, and when you get that mic, and we'll just take a little time and compare mics. What I would hear, I'm sure, would be a whole different range of the top end audio where you're the S range, just very articulated. That's the name of the game as far as condenser mic is concerned. I'll give you my interpretation between a condenser mic and a dynamic mic. Right now, I'm talking on a condenser mic. I'm talking on a condenser mic right now, and I'm going to show you a demonstration of what maybe a dynamic mic would sound like. All right, now I'm talking on theoretically a dynamic mic. As you can hear, it has very limited top end, a little bit of mid-range, but it's like you're in another room. And then when you go to the condenser mic, it's like you open the door and walk in.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And I like that. And God knows it did take a while for me to do some adjustments here on this microphone with my radio settings and all that stuff. But yeah, I think I finally did get it to a point where it sounds pretty darn good. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind bringing a condenser mic like that one in here. I don't know. I'm not sure what the brand or the manufacturer name of that mic is, but have you heard of that one? MDX 90XL or 91XL, something like that.
No, man. Numbers and letters and all that just goes right past me. I got no idea. I just saying, a condenser mic. Will you radio? Do you have voltage on your mic input?
Not that I see. I mean, no. I mean, nowhere on this mic do I see that. It has the area on the back of it to plug in the XLR cable, and that's it.
Roger. So if you were to try a condenser microphone, you would need voltage to make it work. Condenser microphones need a fan and power supply. So what I'm saying is you would need probably a preamp that would furnish voltage for the condenser microphone, Roger.
Yeah, okay, well, that's no big deal. I'll definitely, make sure I do all my homework on, what I need, and I'll make sure that I, add that into the cost factor. But, Yeah, I mean, they have these going for like, it depends, but, new, they're a couple hundred or more, but depending on, what type or what name brand you get, but I mean, I've seen some out there for 70, 80, $100, and, just to try one and, hook it up to one of those $50 preamps and then see how it would do here on this, on my radio. That would be interesting. But anyway, I wanted to tell you this. The last transmission that you just made, you were up there around 1520 over S9.
I'll take that. And I've got a circuit for you if you've got a pen and pencil or pencil and paper or however that works, to take a high level into a mic level. It's simplicity personified. You bridge out of the line level preamp with a 10K ohm resistor, and you bridge into your radio with a 10K ohm resistor, and you short between those two resistors to ground with whatever level of resistor it takes to make your level come out at about 1030 on your input pot for mid-level on your ALC. Roger?
Ooh. All right, that's interesting information.
Roger, this is called a double bridge. You're bridging out of your preamp, you're bridging into your radio mic level, and so you're always going to be 10K load on your preamp and always going to be 10K above ground going into your mic input. It's amazing because when you start getting to low impedances and you start balanced input and you start 600 ohm load resistor onto your input, you're looking for ground loops. I mean, you're going to wind up with ground loops or RF or whatever. I have found that when you bridge in at 10K into that mic input, that's the best way to do it. And then you find the level or the resistor that you need to go to ground between those two resistors where they're tied together. And so you're looking at 10K one way, 10K the other way for all practical purposes, and you wind up with the right level going in.
Wow, that is incredible. Yeah, thanks for that information, man. That is definitely good information to have. So, now, as far as right now, how do we seem to be doing out your way today?
Like about 15 over signal wise, and your audio is well balanced because it being a dynamic, it does not have the articulation that a condenser mic would be. But to stay balanced, then, because of the absence of those upper end frequencies, you've rolled out the bottom end frequencies, so the microphone is balanced. If you've got a bunch of top end, then you can bring a bunch of bottom end in, and you still have balance. But if you don't have that super top end, then you're going to have to roll off some of the bottom to keep relative balance in the audio spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, I know that it is so interesting the way all that stuff works. I'm going to bet you the majority of people out here probably, that probably confuses the heck out of them, I bet. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe, a lot of people out here do understand all that. But I know I talk to a lot of fellow hams out here, here and around the world that I'm talking with that, sometimes they need to talk to someone like yourself who really has some pretty darn good knowledge on this subject.
Well, there's nothing more interesting, I don't think, than audio. I love a top end, and the thing is, I have found that when you're talking about HF, it all moves by skywave. There's nothing that's moving by ground wave. So it's all going to take a bounce to the received position. And in taking a bounce, there's not just a piece of metal up there that reflects the whole thing back to that one position. There is a very complex amount of stuff that will be reflecting signals back to Earth. Not all of them are at the same altitude. And so what happens is possibly when you have a main mother lode of reflection coming down, but you have secondary and tertiary reflections coming down at slightly different speed, and because they're at maybe higher reflections, they're coming back at a slightly different speed. And so when they join at the other end at your receive position, they are coming in at different phase angles. And what happens is that sometimes when the blow-by reflections start increasing in level, they start really to chop away at the primary reflection as far as phase angle cancellation. And that cancellation starts at the upper end of the audio spectrum and moves its way down through the audio spectrum. So in that regards, the first thing that's going to get canceled is the upper end of the audio range, and that is all of your syllabics. So because of that, I usually crank in a little bit more syllables than what I figure is necessary, because I know that that syllabic range cancellation is going to occur at some point to some degree, and you know, I want to be heard or understood, you know. And when you lose that syllabic range, you're particularly if you're down towards the noise level, then your audio is not too much above the noise level, and if it's not articulated, then it'll be very difficult to perceive exactly what's being said. The more articulated your audio is when you're immersed into the noise level, the easier it's going to be for somebody to understand what you're saying.
Yeah, isn't that true?
So I've been in a lot of murky places.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love your setup there, and I've always loved that FT990. I had one, and I mean, it was a great radio. Just a workhorse of a radio, really nice radio. And then the SB220, well, I mean, that's just, I love that amp. It's a nice amp. I have one behind me here, and it's a nice amp. So, I keep forgetting now, what are you using for antenna out there?
I am using an inverted V, being fed at about the 35-foot level, and about 2.5 feet to 3 feet off from the tower. In other words, I have the feed point suspended away from the tower about 2.5 to 3 feet, and because of that, and my tuning method of doing SWR adjustments on the ground side of the inverted V and bringing it back on frequency on the high side of the inverted V, you can keep going back and forth like that till you arrive at the frequency that you're looking for, like center band, at a 0.01 to 1. Roger?
Oh man, that is amazing. Yeah, you know, today between you and I'll say this much: between you and I, man, the signal propagation seems to be just fine for us.
Roger. Now, what do you figure the distance is between us? About 300 miles, 350?
I would definitely guess that's a good guess. I'll definitely check. I'll check after we're done here, but I wouldn't doubt that's probably a good guess.
Roger. Let's see. Boy, I tell you what, my tablets have gone to sleep. That teaks me off. I'm still working, and they're sleeping, and they have a sleep control. I don't know. Well, I was going to go down to West Palm Beach and see how you're doing down there. Hang on just a minute. Let me see if I can revive this turkey and do West Palm Beach, and coming up there, and let me bring the audio levels up and up there, and come back and let me hear you in West Palm. Eric, give me a little audio, sir.
Okay, I'm all set when you...
All right, just tell me about your antenna, Roger.
Okay, so we're using an inverted B over here, inverted B dipole up in the backyard, and I would say from where the coaxial cable goes in, all the way on the tippy top of that B point area is probably about 40, somewhere between 40-50 feet off the ground. And so that is about it. Each leg of that inverted B, if you want to call them that, they are probably about 10 to 15 feet off of the ground surface. So that is about it, and it seems to do a really good job for me.
Okay, I was just, that audio there was from West Palm Beach. You were doing a 10 over in West Palm Beach, Roger.
Well, that's not so bad.
No, it's pretty good. Let me see what I'm doing down there. Audio check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's see if there's any latency. There is a little latency. I got about 4 seconds I can back off. This is KC9VKV in West Palm. I was doing about a 10 over also. Of course, I'm closer.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, here into Northern Virginia, you've been very good signal strength the whole time. I mean, 5.9 up to, like I said, that one of your transmissions was all the way up there around 15-20 over at one point. That was pretty cool.
Roger. Well, we're in an ideal situation geographically to get a pretty primary signal from Montreal to Miami and New York to New Mexico,
Yeah, roger that. A lot of since you've been on today?
I'm sorry, I was SDRing and come back with the last.
I said, have you had a lot of people calling in today so far?
No, I've been blowing all my time with you, man.
Well, we better let some other people jump in here, man. I definitely, I know there's probably other people in there listening. I just, definitely want to let them get in there and, pick your mind about audio quality information and testing and all that good stuff. So and I'll stand by in here and listen in for darn sure. But always good to talk to you, my friend, out there on the Indiana-Kentucky line. 73. Today from you in here to Sterling, Virginia. Great signal. No doubt there. And audio, superb. So, 73 to KC9VKV from W4AVT, and that does it. I'll stand by and let you talk to some other people there and just kind of listen in. Take care, my man.
Roger, Eric. Now, believe it or not, you faded out on me, on my local situation, and so I copied that last from West Palm at a 10 over. So, a great signal, man. So you have a good afternoon. Thanks for checking in, and if you get a chance, check in next Friday, man. We'll compare notes and see what's happening. Threes. This is KC9VKV. In the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. If you've got a radio that you want to check the audio, give us a shout. And we are recording right now. I'm playing catch up with one of my notebooks. But if you notepads, if you want to give us a shout, we are recording. This is KC9VKV.
KC9VKV.